Welcome home. This is Deborah, one of our many residents who live at Pathlight Home, a mental health professional who owned a 3-bedroom house and a car, married and raised her children, then divorced, diagnosed with a degenerative bone disease and unable to work. She lost her job. She tried to live on her disability income, but it wasn't enough. She lost her home, she lost her car, she became homeless on the streets. Then she was referred to Pathlight Home. Her life completely changed. She has now been housed for 4 years and is doing well, as you can see from her picture. This is Pathlight Home, and my name is Helene Bloom, CEO and co-founder of our organization. This is our founder, Reverend Fred Maxwell. In 1992, he was 85 years old, a local minister who wanted to help the least among us. He had a dream to bring the homeless out of the cold and heat into housing. He had just tried to buy an apartment to house the homeless, and the project had fallen apart. A local newspaper wrote a story about him and his project. I was starting the next chapter of my legal career as an attorney at Legal Aid, there to help the homeless through creating a new homeless advocacy project. I read the story in the newspaper and wrote Reverend Maxwell a letter offering to help in any way I could. He called me the day he got the letter. We talked and agreed to partner together. He would do the praying and I would do the work. And from that beginning, our organization has grown to where it is today. 28 years of experience in housing and supportive services, providing affordable housing at below market rents to over 7,000 homeless persons, with in-house property management and supportive services, along with a resource center and culinary training. Our team is led by myself and Babette Ellen, who has extensive experience in property management. Our team of 33 includes multiple disciplines of finance, case management, property management, and maintenance, along with economic opportunity and development. We have won several awards in the past 2 years for our work in the multifamily industry. Our organization addresses the problems associated with homelessness. As in many places throughout the United States, homelessness is a significant challenge. Our community has over 2,000 persons homeless on any given day. Homelessness requires a multidisciplinary approach by an experienced provider. The challenge of homelessness is increased in our community due to low wages of the service industry and the scarcity of affordable housing. Our solution to homelessness involves using the housing first approach. Homeless persons are not required to improve before they move into our housing. They move in and then we address the challenges that brought them to homelessness. What we do costs about $13,500 a year per person served, compared to $18,000 per year per person served by other similar programs in our community. When compared to the average annual cost of care per person in a hospital, jail, or mental health facility of $95,000, our cost of $13,500 is exceptionally lower and creates great savings to our community. Our programs serve 560 formerly homeless persons on any given day, compared to the 140 persons being served in other permanent housing programs in our area. Through outcome measurement, we have shown that those persons who receive on-site supportive services in our programs are 2.5 times more successful remaining in housing than those who do not receive these services. At Pathlight Home, we turn unused and/or outdated hotel properties into studio apartment units. With these units, we pair on-site case management and in-house property management to provide our signature housing first services. In this picture, you see John. John's a former salesman turned police officer. His life was going well. Then he experienced depressive illness. He became divorced. He lost his home and was living in his car. His disability income was not enough to get him into housing. Then he was referred to Pathlight Home. He is doing well and he's now been housed for over 5 years. Here you see our apartments, Maxwell Garden Apartments. located in the south part of Orlando, was a former Holiday Inn motel, which we transformed into a 205-unit apartment complex. Both Deborah and John, who you've seen, live here. Maxwell Terrace Apartments is in the north central part of Orlando. It was a former Hilton Inn, then a Ramada Inn. We transformed it into a 338-unit apartment complex. With this portfolio, we are now investment ready and looking to scale our organization. We have been successful in what we do, and our finances show growth every year. Both our total income and our net cash flow have continued to increase. We have a strong asset base with $22 million in total assets and $16 million in net assets. We are ready to scale. Our plan is by 2023 to have created 120 new family units through the tax credit program and another 120 units through acquisition of 1 or 2 existing apartment projects in the community. We also plan to expand our property management services to other property owners who have expressed an interest in providing affordable housing to homeless persons and very low-income persons. Now that we have acquired the expertise to manage these properties, the time is right to grow by providing this expertise to others for a fee. Here you see our specific strategic initiatives along with the projected cost. This year, we have begun preparing for the creation of our property management division and have started working with an attorney and our auditor to get the necessary documentation in place. Next year, we will be adding a sales consultant and expect to acquire 3 new property management clients for our portfolio. We own a 3.5-acre vacant piece of land behind our Maxwell Garden apartment community that we plan to use along with the unused parking lot at that property and turn it into 10 units of housing for homeless families. The project will consist of 1 large demonstration home and 9 microhomes. We have already raised the funds necessary for the architectural and engineering work for the project. The cost of this project for construction is expected to be about $1,250,000. In 2021 as well, we plan to do our first tax credit project to develop 120 new affordable housing units for homeless families. This will require $250,000 for pre-development costs to make the project ready for funding, as well as finding a tax credit development partner to assist us in qualifying for the funding. In 2022, we plan to acquire another 120 units of existing housing to turn into affordable housing for homeless families. This will require an additional $200,000 for the cost associated with developing this project. Here you see our projected cash flow as we go through our planned growth process. In year 2021, the need for the pre-development funds for the tax credit project, along with the capital expenditure for the 10 new homes, is met through grant funding for the pre-development costs and debt obligations for the construction of the homes. The cash flow from investing opportunities, when added to the cash flow from operating activities and then subtracted from the cash flow from financing activities, results in a positive cash flow for 2021. In 2022, the pre-development costs are met through grant funding. In that year, cash flow declines due to less cash flow from financing activities, but even though it declines, it is still in a healthy position. This is a visual picture of the impact of our scaling. Across the 3 years, an additional 250 units of housing will be created, with an additional 625 persons being served, and an overall savings by year 3 of $41 million in public spending for our community. We are now looking to obtain $450,000 of grant funding for the pre-development costs of both the tax credit project and the acquisition of existing housing, as well as $1,250,000 of construction financing for the building of the 10 new homes on the land we already own. In order to do the tax credit project, we will need to have in place a development partner with experience in tax credit projects, as this is a requirement of the funding in our state. We are currently seeking this tax credit development partner. We also need to secure $2.5 million in loan guarantees for the tax credit project, as this is another requirement of the funding. We are now looking for an individual or company that would be willing to participate in the project by providing the loan guarantees. These investments will result in moving an additional 625 persons out of homelessness by 2023 and will generate over $41 million in savings to the community. Here you have my contact information for further discussion. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to meeting with you.